Hey, how's it going? Hey, welcome to the low-tech making session. And what we're gonna talk about today is how to make things low-tech. I was just getting some stuff out of the case here. I put that away. Now, you guys all ask about low-tech making stuff. And really, you can have a whole bunch of stuff. You can have a CNC, we have back here. But when it comes down to it, you can just get started with bike tubes and fire hose. I love the fire hose. Fire hose, fabric, scrap, string, pipe cleaners. I don't think you get to call them pipe cleaners anymore, but you can correct me on that. There's so many great things. And so today, what I'm getting you guys is an upcycling unit. I'm gonna let you guys see a presentation that I just gave at ISTE, International Society of Tech Ed in Chicago. It was a great time. And it was on entrepreneurship and upcycling. So what I want to do is, I may even flip to that presentation a little bit as I talk, but what it is it's a sample of a curriculum that my company wrote, but you guys, I'm going to give you guys the best chapter, quite honestly. If you want to get the rest of it, you're sure welcome to, but the best chapter is the one that I'm going to get you guys. And what it does is it comes with, well, it'll come with these little cards I'll give you. And these little cards are ways to get kids brainstorming, because low-tech making isn't just about the project. Once again, just like last time I said, it's not the project for the project's sake. We're doing hands-on maker stuff so that we can actually get kids to be creatively thinking. The best way to get kids creatively thinking, in my opinion, is to allow them to fail fast, and iterate on it. And so the design thinking process, I'll post some of those up there too. The design thinking process, if you haven't used it, starts with empathy. So you define your user. There's a great video called Design Thinking, I think, or Design Think, that I'll see if I can post a link to that one as well. And the design thinking really gets kids to think about, how do I implement my idea? But the problem is, if you've got really hard tools to use, or really expensive materials that you're using, it can just take a lot of time to actually get through this cycle. Straw bees right up here. Straw bees are great because they're simple. They're straws, and they're these little connector pieces. Connector pieces. Okay, and these little connector pieces you can spin them, because you can kind of put them in here. They've got different types and varieties, and then they're like tinker toys or tinker logs or whatever. You can just build some really cool things with them, and you can give a representation of what you would create. And I think that's the point, because what happens is we do a lot about the shiny project or product at the end, and then our kids never quite finish it. They don't know what the shiny product or project is. They can't get it. They get frustrated. So instead, set the expectations lower and say, hey, let's just build with bike tube. Now, bike tube, you can do some really cool stuff with. Bike tube, you can turn into a bike tube wallet. One of my classes in a high school class, ninth graders, they basically turned coffee cozies. They took the Starbucks coffee cozy thing, and they made the template out of that, and they cut the bike tube. And when they had the bike tube cut, they put it around the coffee cup. Now, the problem with it is it was hot. Like, vulcanized rubber is very conductive. Okay, you wouldn't think so, but when it's that thin and they put it on there, put their hand on it, and they said, oh, that's gonna burn somebody. That doesn't really work as an effective coffee sleeve. So what can we do? Let's do 2 layers. They did 2 layers. Same thing, didn't work. They put on some fabric on it in the middle to kind of sandwich it and allow that heat to come out. So they started thinking, why isn't it? Why is it? And by the time they were done, they had made this nice little black coffee sleeve out of bike tube, and they had used craft punches, like a punch to punch either holes. They had a big die cut cloud punch. They had some little star ones, and they made these nice little scenes on the black that showed the fabric through. They punched one side of the bike tube, and then they stitched the whole thing up, and I'll put some pictures of that online. And they were really cool. And the cool thing is we got to actually interact with the community too. So it's not just about building for building's sake, but now we get to build, we get to iterate, we get to fail on things that that, like, whatever, they're cheap, you can throw them away. They already were thrown away. They can't be undone. They're not recyclable. And so instead, what you can do is you can have them iterate through there. So I've made some different, in the sample that we're giving away here that you'll see online, it's going to have some material data sheets in it. It has some, talks about the different reasons, the different aspects of fire hose, and then it has, problem solving loop in here, which is a little before the design thinking cycle, but it's still just as good. It has a little reading for students about what is ideation, and it kind of talks about all the different topic things that you can be doing. So download that. That one's free. And this is a sheet I want to go to. You can create your own right here. You can create your own cards, which is great because I love this activity. This little create card activity basically has a spot to brainstorm. And I think we teach kids to brainstorm wrong. So what you need to do for brainstorming is actually you want to get volume of ideas on the page, volume of the ideas. So to do that, but if I say to you, hey, just build something, you're going to build something. I'm like, what? I don't know. I need to give you some parameters, some guardrails, something to kind of build around. So on those sheet there, these little sheets and the ones that I just showed you, or you can buy a set of these cards, there's material, action, and location. Now, if I throw down a little bit of those on each card, then I can throw down one. I might have location, might be school, or you could have your students write their own thing. Is it, baseball field or hiking? Well, hiking would be more the action. Location here, river, right? Material. I used to be an old computer or a bike tube or clothes or, and I put a list of these down for you to kind of spur you on as well. And then location, just pick locations. There's lots of different locations and that we just talked about. And then action, maybe it's climbing, maybe it's baking, maybe it's running, right? So now I say, okay, bike tube, running, location, beach. Well, that's a whole different things to brainstorm on, right? So now it's just quick, and I really like using a song for brainstorming. So take maybe a one song write, I like to say, ready, and go. And you turn on a song, something kind of upbeat. And as the kids are building, they're working on saying, okay, I can brainstorm on this. And then they go to the next thing. And you can even do mind mapping too. We always traditionally do spoken wheel kind of mind map, so you have a hub, and then you start spoking out, and then that one thinks of other things. You can do that around a set of ideas as well. The other thing I want to show you here, and let me turn this just a little bit. The other thing here are make-do. If you're going to do cardboard is a great thing. These are super cheap. They're just little tiny screws, and these little tiny screws can come with little tiny wrenches and screwdrivers. They're pretty inexpensive, these types of things, and they just help you to create some cardboard creations. So if you want to add cardboard into it, you can do that. Within this curriculum that I'm gearing, that's one easy way, and I just call that upcycling. It's taking things that are hard to recycle and make them better. String, tape, scissors, your basic stuff is what you're going to do for that. So that's an easy way to get into low-tech making. Straw bees, pipe cleaners. It's really not about actually not about doing it as much as about, not all about the product at the end, but more about the actual process during the whole thing. So be working with that. Other kind of low-tech, even though it's high-tech, if you have computers, microbit is great, and it's a great way. We'll talk about that in integration land because it's really good to integrate. Strawbees even has these little design challenges, and then we're going to send you some examples here soon of our design challenges that we're working on, like a robot petting zoo, amusement park, just some things that are trying to get kids to think, okay, using anything you have available, what can you build? So that's low tech. I love low-tech upcycling though, just because you can use You can go to the upholstery store and make friends with the upholstery, Joe the upholstery guy. Or you can use bike tubes, make friends with the bike store owner, mom and pop shop. And now you're getting kids past just the basic part, you're getting them into the entrepreneurial side of things, and that is just a beautiful thing. So, once again, these sessions are super short. I'm going to try to keep them short because it's summer. We don't want to spend all of our time walking and talking and thinking through all these things. So keep it short. I'll end on that. I'm going to put a bunch of resources. Once again, where are you? Could you implement some upcycling into your library, into your school? Would that work? Could that fit into a project? Could it be an after-school activity? Once again, ideas are cheap. Execution's the hard part. So take a little time to reflect on the reflection sheet, and I will see you next week, probably in San Francisco. My heart is in San Francisco. All right, thanks much. We've got some more people coming on, and I'll just keep posting stuff all summer. If you have questions, shoot an email to tiffany@yearinthemaking.com, or just hit reply to any of our messages, and we'll try to get right back to you. Looking forward to a big group chat at the end of all this too. Thanks so much. Mark out.